along with like realizing that I wanted to change my major, I realized that like there were a lot of things like that I was feeling and thinking that were never anything that I'd felt or thought before. And like I'd talk to my mom on the phone all the time. And so I would call her and she would be like, Jalyn, like this, it does not sound like you. Through different things in my life, like ways I was looking at them, ways that I was talking about them. And so my mom encouraged me to go start seeing a counselor here on campus about that part of it. And so I started seeing one of the counselors here on campus, and I kind of thought, I'm gonna go in and see her once and then it'll be fine, right? Like I'll start feeling better. But I used all of my 8-week sessions and we only met every other week. So for 16 weeks, I was going in to see her and talk about some stuff. And at first she was kind of like, you know, I think this is just like something you just need to like change your view on it. Like try looking at it this way or that way. Part of it is that I'm an extremely busy person and I always have kept myself very busy doing things. But all of a sudden I was feeling like just so overwhelmed, and I've never felt like that kind of overwhelmed before. And that was one of the things that like cued my mom in to like tell me to start going. And so being an RA plays into that, because that just kept me really busy and kept me feeling like I need to be my best self because I have all these girls on my wing. And not like that I lied to them or like put on a false front. When I was around people, I genuinely felt happy and fine. But as soon as I was alone, I felt awful. And like, it wasn't like I was trying to fake it, but I just would, as soon as people would walk in the room, it would be, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, I'm normal Jalyn, but then by myself. So it was very hard to explain to people, like, because even talking to my counselor, I would be like right now, how I'm like just smiling and talking, like that's how I would be talking to her. And so I feel like it was very confusing for everyone, because I was never like, I was rarely distraught in front of people unless it was like a one-on-one, like we're getting down to like the nitty-gritty of what's upsetting you. And like that did happen with my counselor, but not all the time. And so that was weird. And so eventually at the end of like those 8 weeks, she said, you should go see a psychiatrist, I think, and just see what he has to say. And so my mom came actually out here to visit, first of all, my sister, who just had a baby, but also to go with me to my first appointment, which was really helpful. So we went and we saw a psychiatrist in Spencer, and after telling him like my family's background and stuff, he actually diagnosed me as bipolar, a mild form. So like they say like normal bipolar is like you have the manic, like the really high up here, and then you have the depression really low down here is like normal, and usually it comes in like 2-week like changes, but mine is more like it's changing all the time very quickly, and like it's less severe than, so like instead of being way up here manic, I'm like maybe here, right? And so that was very interesting for me coming back sophomore year and realizing that. And the reason that this all ties in, so we got that like figured out with him, just different ways of coping and different medications and stuff. So that was really good, and I feel a lot better now. And so looking back on it now, the reason I think this all ties together, that it was like God's way of showing me this is something different, is that I don't think I could have handled being a nursing major at the same time of dealing with all this depression, and not saying that it's gone completely, but like I know how to deal with it now, and I know what works for me. And I was still, when I was here, when I was trying to do nursing, I was still at the point where I wanted to do everything. And so I couldn't have done that and that. And so I think like, I don't know if this is true, but I still think that that like seed that God planted at that first, I don't know if God planted it, that seed that I had at that first meeting was maybe like God's way of being like, you've got some rough times coming. You need to put this away for a minute. And so I'm still not like saying no to nursing, but that's just the way that like, who knows if I'll do it now, right? And I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay if I get a job doing something in theater, great. Like I'm totally content with that. I love it. I enjoy it. It's fun, right? But yeah, just that swerve off of my plan, that detour at least, right? That God took me on to, I don't know, to also remind me that I can't do everything, because like I said, like I like to take on things, and I've never been super overwhelmed, and then coming to this point where like I got super overwhelmed, and then now I'm at this point where I'm like, I think I should start saying no to some things. I think I should actually think about like getting sleep and like my own health every now and again, instead of, well, this person asked me to be a part of this, so I might as well. And so I think it was just God's way of teaching me a really, really hard lesson that maybe isn't hard for some people, but for me it was very hard to learn that, like, I don't know, kind of all of the idea of like we are so small. Like, I think about the verse in Job where Job questions God, and God says, like, who are you to question me and what I'm doing? Like, I'm the God of the universe. And like, I don't know, I just kind of think of that, like, it was hard, but you know, who am I to question God, and like how he's teaching me to be a follower of him healthily and glorifying him not only through what I'm doing, but also through being healthy. God's plan, God's unexpected plan, God's alternative ending.